the band back together, getting the boys who rock to rock again. Getting the band back together, rocking the face of a place that remembers when some punks from the suburbs lit the sky with too much reverb. Getting the band back together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Producer's Perspective Live. It's Wednesday, also known as Hoodie Day, here at the Producer's Perspective, because we gave up on Show Shirt Wednesday. F that hashtag. That did not work out so well. We tried. You know, life is about throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. We threw that hashtag against the wall. It sank to the floor, and it just bombed. Actually, we didn't come up with it, so I'm just going to point the finger at Playbill. Sorry, guys. Your hashtag didn't work. Yes, Drew from Baltimore, one of our favorite guests. You've been here from the beginning. We're going to have like a Guinness Book of World Record for a number of Ken's live streams that you sat through. Anyway, yes, 46 episodes. We've done 46. So thank you all for tuning in, all of you who've been tuning in since the beginning of this craziness. And thanks to all of you who will continue to stream these episodes until the craziness is over, or at least half over, because this is going to go on for a little bit. And also a big greeting to all of you watching on the replay. I know a bunch of you, thousands and thousands of you actually, are watching this on repeat, to use fancy television lingo. So thanks to you for doing that, and do spread the word, because you can donate at any time. Just so we're clear, that Facebook tip jar for the Actors Fund is open 24/7. So you don't have, oh, like I'm not watching live, so they must not be accepting money. No, the crazy thing about the internet is you can buy stuff all the time. All the time. So do throw some cash into the Actors Fund tip jar there on my Facebook page, and do a little good for someone that's struggling in the industry. Remember, they don't just help actors, they help everybody. If this is the first time you're tuning in, you've tuned in for a fantastic episode. We have, you know what, she's a genius. Like literally, she's a genius. She got a MacArthur Genius Grant. So take that, everybody. She is a MacArthur Genius Grant recipient. She's Tony nominee Dominique Morisseau. She's Ain't Too Proud, that fantastic, talk about a feel-good musical. I mean, look, this is what we all want to see right now. We want to go see The Temptations and listen to this music. I'm going to stream it afterwards. Also, the Detroit Project, Pipeline at Lincoln Center, does a ton of television as well. Lots of stuff. So if you're a fan of Dominique's, do give us a bunch of likes and some hearts and all those things. Come on, I can watch those things come up from here. So let's see it. It'll help spread the word about this live stream, which will then get more money for the Actors Fund. So thank you for that. And yes, good evening to you, Madeline. Hello to you, Laura. Hi, Taylor from Canada. International guests in the house this evening. Good to see you all here. Thanks for being here. News today. So first of all, we announced last week that we were doing a Daddy Longlegs reunion. Remember Daddy Longlegs? It was the first show to ever be live streamed. If only all the shows were live streamed. I actually write about this in my blog tomorrow. It's a little bit of a rant. So if you want to see me get a little bit angry, read tomorrow's blog. I talk about more shows. If more shows were streamed and recorded, it would be very good for a lot of people right now, right? A lot of artists would be getting some additional revenue. But anyway, I announced this Daddy Longlegs reunion. We have we've added Jesus Christ to the roster of people showing up. Yes, that's right. Paul Alexander Nolan, who played Jesus in the last Jesus Christ Superstar revival. Mary was like, where are you going with this? I don't understand. I wish you could see her face. We should do like they do on Twitch and also have a Twitch. There it is. We should do like they do on Twitch and have a second like screen of Mary's response, because she's like this. This is her when I say something. She's like, what? And just like it's pretty fantastic to watch. She's very emotive back there. Anyway, we don't have that, unlike Twitch, which I did watch for about 45 minutes today. So Anyway, yes, Daddy Longlegs. We've added Paul Nolan. He was in the original cast of Daddy Longlegs before he was replaced with Adam because he went off to do Margaritaville. He's done Jesus Christ Superstar, a bunch of shows. Fantastic, talented guy. He's going to join us as well. He's the voice on the recording, if you've heard that. Did you put up something about Daddy Longlegs? You put up a graphic, Mary? Oh, you did. Okay. Also, the best news of all today is happened yesterday. Nick Cordero. We've been following that story. Nick Cordero, as posted by his wife, actually woke up today, very weak, apparently, very weak, but he opened his eyes and is responsive. So this is amazing news. This Broadway vet and friend to so many of us. He's making the long road back. So please continue to send your prayers to Nick and his whole family. And then in other news, speaking of live streaming, Hamilton, that show that none of you have ever heard of, is going to be on Disney Plus, which is amazing for me because I just got this because I have a 2-year-old and we're in a pandemic and we're like, what are we going to do? I know we're going to get Disney Plus and let her watch every single Toy Story. You know, there's like 17 of those, like just on total repeat. So I'm going to see Hamilton because it's kind of coming in July. Very excited. And once again, a sign that the smart shows record them early for a rainy day. Well, it's raining right now. But let's bring out the sun in today's guest. Please welcome to the live stream, Miss Dominique Morisseau. Welcome, Dominique.
Hi, how are you?
How are you doing?
You know, I'm hanging. I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I love about having you on, first of all, is an example of the pandemic bringing people a little closer together. Is you did my podcast, but you weren't in the city. You're in Chicago, right? Is that where you're home?
I don't know where I was at that time. I'm in LA right now. This is the place I've been for about, since the pandemic began. Literally, since our personal social distancing began, I've been here at my house in LA. So.
But yeah, we did our podcast over the phone. So this is actually the first time we've been as face-to-face as one can get. So
that's right.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
So are you based in LA? Is that where you're?
I am. I'm based in LA. This is home for me.
Tell me about the moment, as I've been calling it, when the virus hit the fan. Like, where were you when you realized, this is going to change things?
Yeah, so I have a very different way into this because I was leaving Detroit in February. That was where I had been there for about a month to help my father transition, and then he passed, and then I had his funeral, and then I left Detroit at the end of a month. I had done a tour for Ain't Too Proud. I had done a press tour for Ain't Too Proud's tour that was going to come and start in Detroit. And so I was in Detroit doing press for that. And then I left and came to New York for a week to watch two of our original Broadway company members leave and 2 new members take the stage. And so I went to New York for that. And then I came back to LA. So that was all at the end of February, top of March. So right when I got back to LA, the pandemic began. Well, the pandemic had already begun, let's be clear. But our knowledge, our global knowledge of the pandemic, or at least our national knowledge of the pandemic began around then. And so my birthday was March 13th, and we were going into quarantine right then.
Oh my gosh.
That was when we started. So I spent my first birthday in quarantine. Whoop, whoop. I have to say it was a lot of fun, actually.
Really? What'd you do?
Nothing. My husband and I, we watched horror movies because it was Friday the 13th on my birthday. So we watched horror movies. We watched Ma with Octavia Spencer, sorry. And that was hilarious and also scary in like funny ways. So that was a joy. And we did nothing. And coming from doing so much, because like I had literally just gotten off from traveling to different cities. I just told you 3 cities I was in, which are basically all the hotbed cities. So I've been in every hot spot at the time of this virus spreading.
Oh my God. I just love, by the way, that MacArthur Genius Grant recipient was watching horror movies. Like, do you have a guilty pleasure horror movie? Like, what's the worst horror movie that you actually like? You know,
Oh, the worst one that I like?
you know, like a bad one that you're just like, I can't get enough of Child Play 3.
I don't like bad ones. I mean, I'm a throwback girl. Like, I love all the Wes Cravens, and and I like Screams. Like, I love the commentary that Scream did on the horror genre. I'm into that kind of stuff. But honestly, horror movies, by and large, do not do it for me.
That's what you're supposed to do on your birthday.
You know what scares me is like stuff that could really happen. Like monsters and stuff does not scare me, but what scares me is like suspense movies where like somebody kills somebody in the basement, like that kind of stuff. That freaks me out. The Sixth Sense scared me for some reason, and in a otherworldly kind of way. I was like, but this could happen, you know? So like, those are the kind of things that freak me out. But like, otherwise, horror movies don't really do it for me. My favorite of late, obviously, is Get Out.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, but that's not a bad one. That was a good one. You know?
Did you watch Us?
I did watch Us. Us was way creepier.
Way creepier.
Way creepier. Yeah.
I watched that with my dad, who actually just passed as well. So, and I was one of the last things we watched together. And I think back like that, he was looking at it like, I don't really get this. This is weird. And I was like, I don't get it. It was creepy in like a different kind of way. I don't even know how to say it. It just kind of made you go, ugh. Here's one not to watch during a pandemic is the Dustin Hoffman film Outbreak.
Yeah,
you know that one?
Oh. That's what I call a horror film. Now that's the real horror film that we could have watched, which I refuse. I saw that in the movie theater when it came out. And I remember people would be doing like stupid stuff at that time at the movie theater. When you watch that movie, you hear people start and start coughing in the movie theater, you know, like dumb stuff. I'm going to cuss, so I'm going to try to watch myself. I don't know who's watching.
All the fucking.
Can I cuss? Okay, so that's what I do. But yeah, it was just like stupid shit like that all the time. And I do not want to revisit that space right now. No.
Do you like suspense or thrillers? How does that work into your writing? Do you think about suspense or that kind of?
Oh yeah. I mean, not the same, not like the suspense, but I do. I mean, suspense is what makes good storytelling for me. And honestly, I think suspenseful writing is some of the smartest kind of writing, you know, where you're trying to sort of get ahead of where your audience, first of all, when you think your audience is intelligent, which I tend to do, I like to think that that they're generally really smart people watching my stuff, you know? And so I go, well, how do you outsmart the smarties, you know? And so it makes me work harder to try to figure out how do I be unpredictable to people that know every trope and trick in the book. And maybe, or how do I just go straight for predictable because we're, you know, because we need that again. I don't know, you know, I mean, but I try to think about how my intelligent audience, what kind of titillation that they need when they're watching stories.
And how this is, I can't even believe I'm going to ask it, but how is this going to affect what you do and what you write? How do you think it will affect your writing personally over the next several years, or will it?
I mean, oh yeah, it already has. I mean, I don't mean that in some like anybody that knows how this affects their writing already. I look at sideways. I don't trust them, you know, because how do any of us know anything? You know, I think some of my favorite writing is about reflection and distance and having some perspective. And I just don't know how you have perspective on anything in the middle of it. But that being said, so how it's impacted my writing, first of all, I just could not write for a while. I spent like maybe a month or more having deadlines for projects and just like, I'm not doing it. You're not getting this in time. Because what are you going to do with it anyway? Where are you going to produce it? Whether it's television or theater or whatever, I needed a little more. And I've suffered an immense amount of loss. I should say that just because the resilience that I'm expressing in this moment is not without like a lot of battle scars. You know, I have lost my father, then I lost my grandmother in the last 6 weeks, and I lost my mother-in-law. in the last
I'm so sorry.
I've lost a lot of people, and my whole family in Detroit, literally my entire family, battled COVID. And when I say my entire family, I mean like mother, brother, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandmother, you know, a lot, everybody. And by the grace of God, my family has all now, which we hope there's only one phase of this. Like we hope that this can't come back, that none of us knows anything. But if there is a such thing as an immunity, if you have it, then I feel counted lucky that my family would have this immunity, which we don't know. But they've all pulled through. And from being in hospitals to whatever, everybody has pulled through. So I say that to say that in my writing has been impacted in the way that, first of all, I just need to stop writing and just let myself heal as a writer, let myself have time to just not push product as a writer. I'm very big on this right now because I don't know what pure thing I'm creating if I'm just doing it to because I have idle hands, you know, and I'm impatient. But I have recently just you know, I'm working on Soul Train, the musical.
Yeah.
And I turned in the book for that to my team for the first time, because we're in the process of just starting to set up workshops and things like that, you know, we were. And that was exciting because I felt I've spent a lot of quarantine time talking to Tony Cornelius, who's Don Cornelius' son, talking to the legends of Soul Train. And that's been fun. And I've done that again with a couple of other projects where I'm like, let me just spend some absorbing time with the people who I'm going to essentially be writing about and get to know them a little better. And we have time. We have time to just like stay on the phone or, you know, on video chat and like chill in our PJs and like really have like a little sleepover time on the phone. And it allowed me some, I think, really luxurious space with the projects that I'm working on.
Do you normally, I remember you're a very prolific writer. Do you normally have a process like I wake up, I have breakfast, and then I write from 8 to 10, I then walk the dog, I write or is it whenever you get inspired?
You know, it changes. It changes. It was before quarantine or before social distancing. I don't like saying it was before social distancing. I was trying to maybe write between the hours of like 12 and 5 every day, like trying to give myself like a work day. I'll wake up and I'll exercise and I'll go to work, and then I'm gonna chill with my husband and eat dinner and, you know, like have a home life in the evening. That's cute, but that doesn't always work. But it was working for me for a while. If I put it on my schedule, like I'm working, you know, but then emails from the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast and I'm always chasing my tail in LA, trying to catch New York. That's already been up and moving, you know, and they think that you're in New York. They don't really know where you are. So they're like, where's the thing I'm asking? And I'm like, I just woke up, you know? And so that interrupts part of my work day. What I have done lately is, because I'm in this luxurious time, and I'm also by myself right now. My husband's at home, you know, he went home to bury his mom. And so, you know, I've been home for a few weeks by myself. So I get up. I have the one luxury that I am afforded in this time of is significant loss, is I have a backyard and it has sunlight. So I wake up, I go sit outside and eat, you know, and just like talk, like just become one with the sun. And then I go inside or I sit outside, I write. And then I make myself lunch, and then I get on the phone and I talk. I go have my downtime for the night, and then I do round 2, you know, at night before I'm ready to go to bed. And that has produced me turning in a project just today, actually, to somebody.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. I mean,
awesome.
When you're by yourself, you know what I mean? It changes things. So yeah, and I've done no TV. I was like, I'm not really gonna watch TV this week. I'll do it really late at night. I might watch TV when I go to bed or something, but I don't watch it during the day. And it just helps me be productive. So it changes, you know, sometimes it's 3 a.m. I don't know. It changes.
Do you work on multiple projects at once? Or is it like, I got a deadline for Soul Train, I'm gonna hit Soul Train, I'm just gonna like binge work on that thing until it's done? Or do you like, oh, you know what? I'm going to work on this play. I'm going to work on this TV show. Maybe this.
It's that changes too, you know, in a different time when I like, let's say I knew I had to turn this in because I'm about to go start this, you know, rehearsal process at Signature. That is not happening. You know, and I would, you know, then I would go, well, let me tackle these two things. So then I'd give myself like 12 to 3. I'm going to work on Soul Train, and 3 to 6. I'm going to work on, you know, this HBO project or this, you know, FX thing or the, you know, but now in this moment, in the last few weeks, I'm like, let me just go and do this one project that I have to do for HBO. Cause I focused on Soul Train. I'm like, this is getting my next 2 weeks. And now this is going to get my next 3 weeks, you know? So I'm switching it up. You know, I feel like this is the moment where you can just do what you want. You can just try what you want to try. And,
yeah.
You know.
And if trying what you want to try means eating a box of Oreos before you start to work, you can do that.
Absolutely. I have been pretty addicted to sparkling cider because I don't drink. I gave it up a long time ago. And so not that I was like on the bottle that much, you know, but I still gave it up. And I drink cider. I drink like grape cider, Martinelli's for people. Ooh, and I've been on that. I've been on my sparkling cider thing. I've also had a lot of game nights with family and friends on, you know, different house party or Zoom, you know. And so cider helps. Game nights help.
What game night? What are you playing?
Oh, well, my family, we get on house party and my cousins, I have a crew of cousins that are like my sisters. Like our mothers were very close. There's 4 of them daughters, and they had a lot of daughters. So all the daughters are daughters. We're very close. And so like 10 to 15 of us get on, you know, online and play games. And it's like a win, lose, or draw. That house party is my favorite app for games. They have like you can do a drawing, you know, contest, and then you do like, you know, there's like a game called Cards Against Humanity.
Oh yeah.
House Party doesn't have that, but it has like a Cards Against Humanity-ish kind of game, and I really like it. So that is a lot of fun, you know. Yeah, we had a blast playing that stuff.
Will you talk a little bit about one of the things I was obsessed with about your story was just how you burst on the scene, which is like, you know, you come in, ain't you proud, Tony nominee, all this stuff, and everyone's like, who's this writer? She's amazing. This is, and that's what I love. It's the like,
that just doesn't make any sense.
I know, but I
know that's what it is, but it's ridiculous to me. Listen, you find them when you find them. I went to London one time, and while I was there, there's this R&B artist. His name is Omar, who's amazing. And he's like a legend. I mean, he was big in the 90s and, you know, like, I mean, in the 90s, you know, and he's like like Erykah Badu and all these, some of my favorite neo soul artists are like big fans of Omar. I didn't discover Omar until 2013 or 2012 when I went to London to work on my play Sunset Baby. And I was at this event where like Omar was at, and all these poets, big time people now, actually, who were in the UK, were all at this thing. And I met Omar like, oh, I like your songs that I just discovered, you know? And everybody in there is like, oh God. I'm like, listen, I just found him. The good thing about art is it lives forever. People going to just discover you 20, 30 years from now. They're going to be like, oh, I just found this new playwright, Dominique. Yeah.
Here somewhere right now going like, God, that kid just found my Romeo and Juliet. Took him this
right. You know, like, oh, look at this new dude, Shakespeare. I'm like, really? But there's so I'm cool with that. But also I have been around for such a long time. And I often tell artists that because I want them to know I am not some overnight success story, not even by a mile am I that. I'm actually I am the longevity story. I have a long vision story, like see the possibilities and then take all avenues. That's my story. You know, build with your peers. Several of my peers, Lin-Manuel is one of them, who like we've taught in the trenches and, you know, an educational theater company together. Like I have a big Camila Forbes, who is the executive producer at the Apollo Theater, is another one who we go back to a very early scene in New York City where we were all just young hustling artists, you know, and I'm a part of that scene. I've been there that long doing things, writing short plays, doing 10-minute festivals, starting my own little theater company that lasted like 6 months, you know, I mean, everything. I've done literally everything. when I got on the public theater's radar was in 2010. That's even 10 years ago now, that I joined the emerging writers group there, and then had my first production at the public in 2013. So, so I've been at least on everybody else's, at least on off Broadway's radar. I've been on their radar, I'll say, since like 2012, 2013. But this musical space and the Broadway space, that's new in my canon. And I consider myself I'm an off-Broadway artist on Broadway, or I'm a downtown theater girl uptown. Like I'm just very, I'm me, and I bring the me to everything that I do. So, and let you be either excited by that or forewarned that I bring me to everything that I do. And so that's how I look at the process of doing Ain't Too Proud. It was because the producers of Ain't Too Proud had heard of me through a colleague of mine, the late great Michael Friedman, a really great musical theater composer. And he told them, hey, if you're going to do something about Detroit and the Temptations, you need Dominique. And that was because of my cycle of Detroit plays that had already started to catch wind in the off-Broadway theater circuit, that allowed him to make that connection to my producers. And then they read Detroit 67, which is actually behind me. But they read my play, and that's how we got connected.
Did you ever think back in the day when you were doing the New York scene thing, walking through Times Square, like, oh, someday I want to write a Broadway musical? Was that like ever in your radar of something you thought you might do?
No, not a Broadway musical. A Broadway play, yes, absolutely.
Not
a Broadway musical. I didn't know. I didn't think musical, no. And I remember the first time that I was in New York in Times Square when I was planning to move here to be an actress. And I had just I had just graduated from getting my BFA in theater performance from Michigan. And my roommate and my friend and I, we all kind of went to Times Square to sort of get feel. We were going to go see some Broadway show that night. And I remember looking at all of the like jumbotrons and the lights, and I was just like, God, you can feel so small here, And I was thinking like, man, how will I ever do anything in this gigantic freaking place? That's what I was thinking at that time. I was like, there's jumbotrons. Like, how do you ever get big enough here? And that was what I was thinking in my head. And that was in 2001. Well, that was in like 2001. It took till 2010 for me to get on the public's radar, but I'd been doing stuff since 2001. So
it's like, to get big enough, you actually have to do a lot of little things.
I'm about the small little pebble in the pond that makes the ripple. That's what my philosophy is. And I'm also somebody who believes, and I think you have to, if you really want to have staying power as an artist, you build your career brick by brick. Easy come, easy go. But if you build a foundation, there's nobody that can knock you off of that. Because like, so what, you don't get this one gig, or somebody didn't like your play over here, or some critic gave you a bad review about that. You have like a brick foundation underneath you. You're not going anywhere. And I believe in my brick foundation.
How do you stay so positive, period? Never mind during this period. I mean, that is a very inspirational thing that you just said. And there's a lot, I mean, you've dealt with so much personal loss. And again, I have to say my condolences to you on that. And yet you're still here. You're still turning in a script. It may have taken you a little bit longer, but who the heck gives a F? How are you staying so positive, and what would you say to all those people out there that are battling with trying to do the same thing?
Oh, staying positive is not easy. I'm not saying that I don't have days where it's bleak. It is, especially because my hometown is so ravaged by this virus, but I'm just, a friend of mine asked me, because I've been talking to a lot of people who are dealing with different social distancing is really impacting a lot of people's mental health, and their sense of well-being. And I remember a friend, I was telling a friend like, hey, this is a practice. So let me know who you need, who you need help with, so we can get you some practice on self-care. It takes work to want to be here. I think I said it takes a lot of work to want to be here and to stay here when you're going through things. And I remember a friend said, well, why do that work? Like, what's the point? You know, like why is it even worth it? And every person has to find a way to answer that for themselves. I think the answer for me that I have learned, and I'll share this to everybody that's watching, but especially theater makers and artists and writers. Um, I love storytelling. That is the one thing I love so much. And I love stories so much that I'm too curious about my own story to give up before what's going to happen. Like, I've been on this journey. I've been reading this book for a long time, and I'm just not willing to give up. And I want to know what's going to happen next. I've seen enough in this, in the many chapters of my life to know that each chapter is going to be significantly different than the chapter before it. And I'm just excited to see, like, so what's after this? I deeply want to, I'm not only invested in like the world stories, in the communities that I call my own, their stories. I'm curious about my own story. And I want to know what's going to happen next. I want to see how many different and unique chapters there are in my own personal story. And I would say to everybody who's an artist to invest in your own story and trust that your story has the potential to change dramatically and masterfully over the course of your life. Be on the journey to be your best and most avid fan. And that's what gives me a little bit of push to keep doing this for myself.
Well, I can tell you, we want to know what's next for you too. We want to know what's next from you. Oh, look, we got to look at your inspirational speech. Just raise some money for the Actors Fund. I love it.
Hey.
You're such a talent and such an inspiration. And it's true. We can't wait to hear what's next from you professionally and personally. I can't thank you enough for being here today. You put a smile on my face and everyone else's as well. So my best to you out there, and we'll see you soon.
Great. Oh, and can I also just say, if you're an artist who's in need of funding, or you're looking for ways to help artists who are in need of funding, I participated in the Trickle Up NYC.org. And if you go there, myself, Taylor Mack, a ton of other, Lynn Nottage, so many other amazing theater artists and theater makers. And we have created content for you to go check out on the website. And then the funds that we raise, we are able to give a hefty amount of money to an artist every month.
What's the website? Mary, do you have it? Or do you?
The website is trickleupnyc.org.
trickleupnyc.org. Let's see how fast Mary can get that up.
I don't know. I don't mean to stress. There we go. trickleupnyc.org.
She's very good.
Thank you, Mary. That's dope. Yes.
Yeah. Check that out, everyone. We'll if you want to make a donation to them, please do. We'll even forgive you for not making a donation to the Actors Fund if you give a little money to Dominique's charity there.
You can split the pot. Just because everybody, all of these organizations that are helping artists, stand the storm, are important, and we have to invest in each other. So, so please. If you can,
we have a very generous audience here. If they tuned in last night, they know they're gonna raise $1 million for the Actors Fund. So, thank you for that. Thank you for being here so much. It means so much to me and to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dominique Morisseau, everybody. Once again, another very inspiring guest here on the Producer's Perspective Live. Hope you enjoyed it. Yes. Oh yeah, we have a lot of people saying such a beautiful person. Yes, without a doubt. So thank you to her. Thank you to all of you for joining. What do we got coming up? Tomorrow, Lauren Lataro, choreographer, waitress, and a bunch of other shows. Lauren's going to be here. She's another fantastic lady, fantastic theater maker. We'll learn what she's doing. Don't forget about the Actors Fund, except tonight, again, Trickle Up. Go for Trickle Up. If you haven't made your donation, go for Trickle Up. Do keep that social distancing in place. We're going to whip this sucker. The sooner we do this, the sooner we get Broadway back. And I mentioned at the top of the show that Nick Cordero opened his eyes, looked around today. It's inspiring news. And we've got something to make you smile that's in that theme. So this is a song that he wrote called Live Your Life. Can you believe it? Called Live Your Life. It's by Nick Cordero, and it's sung by the Broadway community. So we put it in the Something to Make You Smile this week or today, theproducersperspective.com/smile. Mary will put the comment up there in the chat, I am sure. Go there, check it out. It's a very, very inspiring video. And if we all tonight put our thoughts and prayers and positive energy onto Nick, hopefully his comeback will be even shorter. So please say a prayer for him and check out that smile. Keep a smile on your face as we all get through this together. And we will see you tomorrow with Lauren Lataro. Bye-bye, everybody.
We're getting the band back together.